All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies for us being late. We were tied up in closed session. I would like to call the meeting to order. We'll welcome all of you here, both upstairs, downstairs, and in the back room. And we'll have, thanks for volunteering, Mrs. Gerges, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I was going to do it from the back. I can do it from the back. I apologize. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Wormers.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There is nothing to report out of closed session. So we're moving on to staff presentation, a report from the Torrance Education Foundation. Susan.
Thank you. Good evening to the board and to everyone. First off, I'd like to thank everyone in this room, especially the cabinet and the board, who helped to make the 2018 Torrance Education Foundation dinner such a big success. We had a great new swath of support because our district helped us reach out to new sponsors this year. And I want to say thank you on behalf of our board to everyone who helped us do that. We had a larger party than usual, and for those who don't know, we put a tent in the parking lot at the Doubletree Hotel, which was a big success. And I should say also we are greatly, very grateful to the Doubletree, who was our producing partner and a sponsor for the evening as well. We did raise $160,000, which is dramatically up from prior year, so that's very good news. And a lot of that funding will be coming back to support our effort to fund the contents of our science labs at the elementary schools that are under construction. So thank you all for participating. We also drew the winner of the annual Toyota car drawing at the dinner event this year, and I'm happy to report to anybody who doesn't already know, which you should because you should like us on Facebook. Miley Tynan was the winner. She is an elementary school teacher at Hickory Elementary. So she will be joining me on Wednesday at the Toyota dealership to pick up her new RAV4. So congratulations to Miley. Thank you to everyone who purchased car raffle tickets this year. And to, of course, Toyota, who's been a tremendous sponsor of ours for the past 14 years. We are open for business at South Bay and Richmond Academy. Registration is open and going along well. And for anyone who might not know, we have made some additional changes to the curriculum in order to assist the secondary school students who have to adjust their schedule in summer because of new changes in enrollment practices for summer schools. So we have added some additional classes. I know I mentioned this last time I was here, but just to be sure that we're working hard with students and with counselors to be sure that students who want to come to summer school but who may have planned something different before this change took place, we'll work with them to the best of our ability to be sure that something that they need can be found at summer school at SBEA. There was one more thing I meant to say tonight, and now I've forgotten what it is. I'm not sure. I don't think it'll come back.
Give me a minute.
Give me a minute. Let me see. Tick tock, tick tock. Raffle. SBEA. Oh, yes, thank you. We will be holding a reception in 2 weeks to honor the scholarship recipients who are, there are 22 scholarship recipients this year from Torrance Education Foundation with our partner agencies and businesses who support the scholarships for students. So that will take place on May 9th, and you will very shortly be able to see the recipients' names on our website as soon as we get our new website up and running, which is almost ready. Thank you. Are any questions?
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Of all the elementary science labs, how many do you have funded at this point?
Funded, totally funded, equipped, funded and equipped, there are 4. 6 more, as I understand, are coming online by the end of this school year, and some of the funding is in place, but we're still seeking funding for that. And then shortly after, there will be the remaining 7 that we're still seeking funding for that as well.
And it's $20,000, no,
It's $40,000 per lab.
$40,000 to fund it.
Mm-hmm.
and they'll take proportional shares.
Pardon me?
And you'll take proportional shares.
Absolutely. We will be happy to welcome gifts of 40,000 if that's possible, or any number other than that. Yes. It all goes to the greater good. Anything else?
I
Okay.
think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, 8.2, report from the Torrance Council of PTAs. Nanette, you're here. Last month you weren't, or last meeting you weren't. So welcome.
Germs. So I have one quick cute update, two actually. Earlier this month, we held our annual bike rodeo, which is it sounds like a lot of fun because it is, but it's also an event really focused on bike safety, and that's put together in concert with the district as well as the Torrance Police Department, and each of the elementary schools, 3rd through 5th grade, I believe, compete in a skills test and a little safety test, and the winners get moved on to this district-wide event, and so we were excited to have hosted that yet again, and so it was a success, and we're thankful for everyone who took part in it. Again, a lot of fun, and I know I have 2 older kids who sometimes fondly look back at that and think it was a really big accomplishment and a big deal, and I think one kid still has a certificate somewhere, so that's very cool. We also will be shortly announcing our 10 college scholarship recipients. That's just the Torrance Council of PTAs awarded to each of the 4 or 5 high schools, if you include Sherry, of course. And this year, we also had a Janie Butcher Memorial Scholarship dedicated to a North PTA leader who had moved up through each of the units in Torrance and, well, at each of the levels, I should say, and was at a one-time council president. So we were really honored to be able to honor her memory with a scholarship in her name. So that's very exciting, and we'll be honoring them at a brunch in June. The next 2 things I wanted to quickly talk about is, I know that, I've said this before too, I think people think of PTAs as volunteer organizations or fundraising mechanisms within their schools, and yes, that's true, that's part of it. We're heavily involved with like running libraries and bike rodeos and book fairs and the like, and that's awesome, but our chief goal, our main calling is as an advocacy group. And so in very short order, we'll have the chance to, as a board, as an organization, to discuss a local piece of legislation as well as a larger state piece of legislation. AB 2808, I hope I'm saying that right, is being sponsored by Al Marsucci's office, and will be looking to hopefully be lockstep with the California State PTA in supporting the bill. And that whole bill focuses on K through 12 education funding and increasing the funding mark from the 2728 number, which we know is inadequate, to a much larger number, which hopefully puts us more somewhere in the middle of the pack of the United States instead of kind of at the bottom. So it's our sincere hope to be able to do some good there, and hopefully put a little bit of love and pressure on our lawmakers to cough up the dough. So there's that. And then locally, we've been approached by one of our peers at the Torrance Police Department about a social host ordinance that they would like to see support on. So we're going to take that under advisement as a board as well, and I'll give more information as I have it. Essentially, the long and short of a social host ordinance is this. So currently, if theoretically you were to host a raging house party at your house as an adult with a bunch of minors, and there was alcohol present, and students were, or minors were drinking, there are laws in place that essentially tell us that minors should not be drinking, and that there are criminal consequences to that, misdemeanor. And that's fine. I think most of us think that's where the story ends, except that there's concern that those laws are essentially inadequate because they cannot be enforced. The main issue, I think, largely is that if a police officer doesn't witness the alcoholic beverage being consumed, doesn't see an adult actually handing an alcoholic beverage to a minor, there's not much that they can do in the way of asking the adult. Well, there's not much they can do. Their hands are somewhat tied. A social host ordinance, on the other hand, basically changes the conversation a little bit so that it's a civil matter and people can be fined, and that the police officers on site have a little bit more latitude in what they see and can clearly witness and then act on that accordingly. I'm probably doing a horrible job of explaining it, but that's kind of the long and the short of it. every other city, with, I think, Redondo Beach, actually, and El Segundo soon to follow, so Palos Verdes, Manhattan Beach, and Hermosa Beach currently have social ordinance laws in place, and they all vary a little bit in how they do it. But Torrance currently is the only city in the South Bay that has no such ordinance. So again, we'll be looking at that as a board and seeing how we might support support that, I suppose. And I think that's the long and the short of it. I don't know if anyone had any questions. Sorry again, I think I was kind of muddled. It's probably too much legal jargon for me to even keep in my little head, but
You did great.
there you have it.
You did great. Any questions from anyone on the board? I think we're fine.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. 8.3, the introduction of student representative to the board for the fourth quarter of 2017-2018, and report by student representative, Dr. Dugal.
Thank you. We are honored to welcome Ian, who is the ASB president at Torrance High. He is also a member, or Sergeant of Arms of Charter Knights. He is a member of both the NHS and CSF on campus and on the volleyball team. Prior to being ASB president, he was also the sophomore and junior class president, and congratulations, he'll be going to Cal State Long Beach starting in the fall.
Very good.
Thank you. Recently at Torrance High, our drill team just went to nationals and they got first place, so that's good. Our speech and debate team just went to Sacramento to compete. I haven't heard back from them, but they should be back, or they should have been back already. Last week we held our spring musical, which ran Wednesday through Saturday. It was actually pretty good. And upcoming events, our ASB elections are this Friday, and we're also planning our Teacher Appreciation Week, and we also have AP testing in May.
Very good. Mr. Lee.
I want to commend the Ian from Torrance High School with the maroon shirt on. You know, the principal's back there. There may have been some coaching involved, I don't know, but good move. From a tartar to a tartar. Thank you.
I knew you would notice that. We always tell the student representative, if you see anything or hear anything that you find you should comment on, please don't hesitate. Get our attention and participate in the meeting. If you just sit there and bump in a pickle, you could be home doing your homework. So much rather have you be involved. So, thank you. We're now moving on to the good news student presentation from Torrance Elementary and Hall Middle School. Let's start with Dr. Kim.
Thank you, President Wormers. It's my pleasure to introduce one of our student leaders from Torrance Elementary School, Caitlin Martinez. Can you please come on up? Let's give her a round of applause, everyone. Joining Caitlin is the principal of Torrance Elementary School, Dr. Kelly Joseph.
Thank you.
Caitlin, what's happening at your school?
So, there's a lot of good things happening, and good evening. My name is Kayla Martinez. I'm in second grade, and I go to Torrance Elementary. I like being at school because of all the teachers and students. They are all really nice and friendly. I like my principal, Dr. Joseph. He is funny and really nice. In my class, we get to use our Chromebooks and to use ST Math and RAS Kids. Using my RAS Kids is great because I can read different levels of books, and that helps me in my reading groups. Fun activities like the Jogathon, Math Festival, Winter Dance, Movie Night, and Science Fair have been really fun to be a part of. I am also super excited to go on a field trip to the California Science Center with my class. I love the different fun activities I get to do at my school. Thank you for letting me share with you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Dugal.
Next, I'd like to welcome Ian Hahn from Hull Middle School to share a little bit about what's going on at Hull. I'd also like to give a shout out to Patty Gerges, the principal who's also here from Hull Middle School.
Hi, my name is Ian Hahn, and I am Hall's Student Council President. There's been many things that have been going on at Hall that have been good things, and I'd like to explain it to you guys. First, Hall provides many activities for high-achieving and GATE students. Over the year, high-achieving and GATE students participated in sessions every month. Each session had a theme we discussed and an activity. One session was about failure. After having a discussion on failures, we made a Rube Goldberg machine, and basically it's a contraption that does a simple task. After many failures on creating the contraption to move a toy truck, many students were able to move the Rube Goldberg machine to work. Through this, we learned that we can learn from failures. Second, all high-achieving and GATE students were able to visit the aquarium at the Pacific. While we were there, we participated in a class to learn how different sea creatures behave in different sea levels. This class prepared us for a GATE session a few days later where we dissected a fish. We dissected a mackerel and learned its features, how its features are used in the ocean. We also went to Astro Camp. It was a 3-day, 2-night trip where we all did many experiments, such as seeing what would happen if you lit up a hydrogen-filled balloon. We learned that 2,000 tons of micrometeorites fall on Earth every day. We also zip-lined and used telescopes to view constellations such as Orion's Belt. It was a great experience for everyone, and we all learned a lot. Hull also had STEM Night on March 20th. Hundreds of families and students were there. Many students who were part of STEM-related clubs such as Girls Bid LA, Planet Hawk Heroes, and Alchemy Club were there to help and present cool experiments such as making slime, dissecting strawberry DNA, dissecting fish, and there was even a monster escape room where students had to solve academic problems to escape. It was a great event, and I had fun being a participant there. Lastly, Hull participated in some district competitions. One of them was a volleyball game against Madrona. The game was held at Torrance High on April 11th. Our girls lost to Madrona in a set of 3, but our boys swept them. Overall, many kids came to support and cheer for our school and showed great school spirit. Another competition Hull had was Math Field Day. About 60 students tried out for this competition. During the tryout, many students attended weekly meetings to learn how to solve challenging math problems. After several months of practicing and working together, only 15 kids made the team. 5 students from each grade were selected. Hull hosted this event, and many middle schools came to participate in it. Although our teams did not win, one student from Hull will represent the district and participate in the LA County Math Field Day this weekend. These are some of the good things that has been happening at Hull recently, and we will have more events coming, such as Color Me Hall and History Day. I'm grateful to be part of this Hawksome school. Thank you for this opportunity to share about my school.
Thank you. Thank you very much, both of you. Moving on to 8.5, CSEA Chapter 19 Initial Proposal for 2018-2019 School Year. The CSEA Chapter 19 Initial Proposal for the 2018-2019 school year will be submitted at the regular meeting of the Board of Education held on April 23, 2018. PERB rules require that no formal response or discussion be held at this time. As you are aware, state law provides that we hold a hearing for public input regarding the CSEA Chapter 19 Initial Proposal for 2018-2019. Copies of this proposal will be available to the public in all city libraries and the Human Resources Department. Time for public comment on the initial proposal will be provided at the May 7, 2018 Board of Education meeting. Moving on to 8.6, Torrance Unified School District Initial Proposal CSEA Chapter 19 for 2018-2019. The Torrance Unified School District initial proposal to CSEA Chapter 19 for 2018-2019 will be submitted at the regular board meeting of the Board of Education held on April 23, 2018. PERB rules require that no formal response or discussion be held at this time. As you are aware, state law provides that we hold a hearing for public input regarding the Torrance Unified School District initial proposal to CSEA Chapter 19 for 2018-2019. Copies of the proposal will be available to the public at all city libraries and the Human Resources Department. Time for public comment on the initial proposal will be provided on May 7, 2018 Board of Education meeting. And they say we don't do exciting stuff here on the school board. All right, we are now at the point of oral communications, unscheduled hearings. If you wish to speak in front of the board, we need a bright yellow card. Anyone wanting to speak to us, we need a bright yellow card. We have less than 10 cards, so I'm going to keep us at 3 minutes a speaker, trying to move along as quickly as possible. I'll announce who's going to be speaking and who's on deck to speak next. Good point. Mrs. Deutsch pointed out, anybody who wants to run for the hills, now's the time. Anybody who wants to go home and do homework, anybody who wants to vacate, this is your opportunity. So any students want to go, there's your chance. You quitters. Thank you. Okay, that put us right at 10. All right. The Board of Education welcomes input from the public. In order to discuss district business in an orderly manner for the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond more directly, the board policies require that public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers to non-agenda items may address only items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Time allotted for such presentations is limited to 3 minutes. Total time allotted for public input on non-agenda items is limited to 30 minutes. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. When addressing the board, speakers are requested to state their name, address the president from the podium, and adhere to the applicable time limits. Complaints against employees or students will normally be heard in closed session, and the district complaint procedure should be followed before discussion with the board. The board may remove disruptive individuals and order the room cleared if necessary. Any person who willfully disturbs any public school meeting is guilty of a misdemeanor. Ed Code 32210. I will start with Jen Harris. Oh.
Hello.
On deck is Deborah Tabush.
Okay, I'm going to pass this around. So my name is Jen Harris with Behavioral Health Services, and we focus on drug prevention and drug treatment. I've come to speak to you all. We currently have our Drugs Kill Dreams /Choice program at some of the schools this year, and the program has been going very well. I actually wanted to talk about two different things. So I'm passing around a flyer right now. This Saturday, which is April 28th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we will be having the prescription drug take back. So if you have any unused or expired medications that you would like to turn in, you can just come bring them to the Torrance Police Department. BHS is also co-sponsoring and partnering with the Lomita Sheriff's Department. So if you're closer to the Lomita Sheriff's Department, then feel free to take them there. Both events will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can turn in any unused or expired medications. We will not be accepting sharps or needles because we won't have containers to put them in, but we will have information on site as to locations that will be accepting them that are year-round. So we ask that you don't flush your prescriptions down the toilet because a lot of people tend to do that. And so we just want to make sure we're also protecting our young people. So if you have young people in the home, please store them properly, make sure they're locked up, make sure you're monitoring them. The other thing is this month is Alcohol Awareness Month, and so we have been focusing on doing a lot of education, and I'm appreciative that Nanette actually talked about the social host ordinance because we have been doing a lot of education around that as well. So I just wanted to go over a couple of facts. So over 5 million youth between the ages of 12 to 20 reported being binge drinkers, meaning consuming 4 to 5 drinks in one sitting, 4 to 5 or more drinks in one sitting, and 1.3 million have reported being heavy drinkers. And underage drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 annual deaths amongst underage youth. And so it's very important that we're protecting our young people. And so to sum up what Nanette said in regards to social host ordinance, essentially if you provide alcohol to someone, if you are an adult and you provide alcohol to someone under the age of 21, then you would be held responsible. So if they were to damage property or do anything like that, then you'd be able to be cited or even just providing the alcohol. And one of the things that our young people are telling us is a lot of adults are actually providing the alcohol to them, and it's not just their own parents. So they're going to friends' houses, the friends' parents are providing the alcohols, or older siblings who are considered adults. And so we want to make sure we're protecting our young people, because underage drinking is still happening. It is the #1 abused drug among young people, and so we need to make sure we're doing more education and we're supporting our young people in that. And so in partnering with the City of Torrance and Torrance PD, and then soon enough we will be partnering with the PTA. We'll be supporting them, so thank you.
Can I ask you a
One
quick,
moment, we have a question for you.
really quick question? You mentioned prescription drugs.
Yes.
This can be over-the-counter expired
Yes.
medications also?
Yes, so if you have any of that, then feel free to drop
Like
them off.
Tylenol, aspirin, that kind of stuff should not be flushed,
No,
but
do not
should
do
be
it.
taken to the, okay.
Yes, we'll also have information on how you can dispose of it throughout the year as well, so you don't have to worry about flushing them.
Good, thanks.
Deb Tabush, followed by Alan Glassman.
Deborah Tabush, TTA President, 1619 Cravens. Good evening, Board of Education members, President Mr. Wormers, TUSD Cabinet, and the Torrance High School representative. I stand before you once again to address the needs facing the teacher, your employees of Torrance Unified. Over the last few years, there has been a paradigm shift between the school board members, TUSD administration, and the relationship with the teachers. It's time for this to change. When I first started in TUSD 18 years ago, I was a new teacher seeking for ways to improve my craft. I had the autonomy to learn from both district personnel, teachers on special assignment, and participate in workshops and conferences outside of the district. What I learned and how I used it in the classroom was up to me, the classroom teacher, as long as I was ensuring that the students were mastering the California state standards. Since the rollout of Common Core standards, teachers throughout TUSD are losing face time and instructional minutes with their students due to required professional development during the school day, administration pushing no new teaching time during the instructional day, and now the possible rollout of at the elementary level with more instructional minutes, face time, away from our students. It's time for a change. Students need the autonomy teachers need the autonomy. They need autonomy as well inside the classroom to choose PD for enriching their craft and need face time to teach their students. There was a time when the Board of Education sought input from teachers and TTA leadership, but I do not feel this is the case. The concerns about professional development, losing face time with students, and the rollout of new programs without any accountability has fallen on deaf ears. It is apparent that the school board does not feel there is a problem or concerned about what teachers or TTA leadership is sharing with you. Responses such as, it's in the LCAP, it has to be done that way, or every other district is doing it, or we do respect your voice, it is not echoed in the sentiment of our concerns. It is time for a change. Teachers need face time with students and autonomy in the PD choices. It's time for a change, and the change is now.
Alan Glasman. One more time for Alan Glasman. Moving on to Teresa Brown, followed by Yuzar Pasta. Teresa Brown? Coming? My apologies.
That's okay, I was in the other room.
Not a problem.
I don't want to take up my
Speaking of
minutes.
that, if anyone in the other room that wants to fill out a yellow card, you're welcome to do so and bring it to us. I don't want to exclude you, so go ahead, Teresa.
Okay, good evening, school board members, staff, fellow teachers, Torrance High student rep. I am Teresa Brown, the Vice President of TTA, and I'm here tonight to address the idea of partnership and trust between teachers, students, and the district. When I began to think about what I wanted to address this evening, I looked up the definition of the word partnership. A partnership is an arrangement where parties agree to cooperate to advance their mutual interests. When I joined the partnership between TUSD and TTA as a teacher in 2002, I truly felt I was part of a partnership. In September, teachers in the district would meet on the first day and hear about the goals that would guide us for that year. It was a celebration of things that could and would be accomplished. A few years later, the district moved in a different direction, but I still felt part of the partnership. I could have conversations at the site level, district level, and the school board level and believe that my voice and the voices of other teachers were being heard. I knew my students, parents, administration, and district officials appreciate the job I was doing because I was and am a highly qualified professional. As I worked in this partnership, I understood all involved in the education of our students had one goal: have each and every student succeed to their ability. This partnership was based on trust and allowed us to meet our common goals. In recent years, there's been a drastic shift. The TTA board members meeting with the school board members are told that we do not speak for our members when we bring feedback concerning calendar and intervention programs. The district has implied that TTA and teachers do not care about children because we disagree concerning a school calendar. Starting 3 weeks earlier is not the only way to meet the needs of all children in this district. The district, along with the school board, has decided that a one-size-fits-all approach is best for all the students and has stopped listening to the voices of the professionals in the classroom. Not taking into consideration what losing weeks in the summer will do to the welfare of teachers who take on second jobs to make ends meet, there are always ways to craft a calendar so that all stakeholders can be satisfied. Instead of being a partnership with mutual goals, working together to meet the needs of all stakeholders in the district, it is evident now that the highest importance is to check off a box mandated by the county for the LCAP. Instead of listening to the professionals you have hired to teach students of Torrance and allow face time with students working to improve learning, you require us to collect data and test more. In a partnership, there must be trust, and it is time that all of you begin to trust the professionalism and quality of the teachers you have hired. Our district is not great because of the numbers of tests given or the data we collect, but the quality of the teachers and how we work with the students. Let us return to the time of trust and partnership with the mutual interest to support and train our citizens of tomorrow. Thank you.
Uzar Pasta, followed by Aaron Voigt.
Hello, my name is Uzair Pasta, and I am a Torrance resident, and I'm a son, I'm a brother, and hopefully in the future I'm going to be a taxpayer. And most of all, I'm a student of West Torrance High School. And as a student, I am so thankful that TUSD has given me the chance to express my concerns that I have at West Torrance High School. Now, a few weeks ago, my classmate and I, Shelby LaRue, came up here and expressed our concern about the West High removal of blinds. And we showed you guys a petition that consisted of over 1,000 signatures of both administration and students. And we gave you statistics, we gave you how we need the blinds, and I understand how TSD board is so packed and so busy, and I understand that you guys have a lot on your mind. And this might not be on the top of your priority, but this is one of our priorities, and this is one of our concerns. And I understand that you have many things to do, such as the Torrance teachers issue, and the legislations, and the social host ordinance, but this is something that matters to the students. And we, as the students, are the central body of Torrance Unified School District, and we believe that we needed to have a say in the matter, rather than just being told right after the matter had been done. And we believe that we need to have a voice in this TUSD board for it to work, because not only is this a TUSD Torrance Unified School District for teachers and administration, but that also involves students. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Voigt, followed by Sarah Duenes. I never say your name right, Sarah. Duenes. Aaron?
Going the other way. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Voigt. I am a teacher and TTA rep from South Torrance High School. A few months ago, I was here listing the concerns that teachers had at our school. Here, I'm here tonight to talk to something a little more philosophical and practical that encapsulated a lot of the concerns that teachers had. Now, in full disclosure, I'm not even supposed to be here. I talked to probably dozens of teachers in the last couple of months saying, come to the school board, have a conversation with them, talk to your administrator, see what they have to say. And almost every single time, they looked at me and said, no, I know what you're saying, but I'm not going to do it. I said, why won't you? Why won't you stand in front of them and list one of your issues or concerns? And with very few exceptions, the answer was this: I'm afraid I'm going to be targeted. I'm afraid that my position, that if I teach an AP class, it's going to be taken away. If I have a coaching position, that it's going to disappear. If there's a club that I enjoy, it's going to be gone. Now, let me further clarify. They are well aware that this would not be done directly. It would take some issue or some concern, and then the site administrator would craft some eloquently written response as to why they should no longer be a coach or why they should no longer have that club. It won't be direct. It'll be covert. And it broke my heart to think that there were dozens of teachers that thought that, not just at my site, but in middle school sites and elementary school sites that I went to, that lack of trust existed from top to bottom. Now, here's a bit of irony that I find in all of this, and I apologize, I'm kind of winging my speech here as I go. This district has spent millions of dollars on the solution tree ideology. And I don't know how much time you've looked into this or not, but the absolute base of solution tree is trust. That there has to be trust between the teachers and the site administration. There has to be trust between the teachers and the district administration. Without that, it is dead on arrival. It will not succeed. And myself and teachers who have packed this room now for months are absolutely flustered how this trust-based ideology can be essentially thrust upon us. And at the same time, teachers at every location feel that trust is absolutely disappearing. We do not understand, it's why we are here, how you can square force-feeding us solution tree ideology while creating what we think is basically a toxic environment to work in. Now, sticking with that trust theme, pardon me as I go back to my notes here for a second. We understand as teachers that trust is the absolute linchpin to a classroom. If our students do not trust us, it doesn't matter what great lesson plans we have, they won't be successful. They have to trust us, the parents have to trust us, and without that, we go nowhere. Our concern is we don't know if we can trust where all of this is theoretically going. Now, what we can trust is that we are going to see this model of less with more. In other words, and please allow me one sentence here, more work with less autonomy, more meetings with less instructional minutes, more professional development with less time with what really matters, which is face time with the students. Thank you.
Thank you. We're never going to make it. Yeah, we'll never make it. Sarah.
Good evening, Sarah Duenas with the North Torrance Neighborhood Alliance. I wanted to invite those in the audience and those at home to attend the sixth and possibly final Hamilton 7-Eleven Surplus Committee meeting. It will be this Wednesday, April 25th at 6:30 p.m. in the multi-purpose room. Hamilton Adult School is located at 2606 West 182nd Street in North Torrance. When Hamilton is sold, the children on the north side will be displaced. Our kids will have to travel to Levy in South Torrance to catch up on credits, receive their GED, or to take additional career certification courses. Our senior citizens will no longer have access locally to recreational activities in North Torrance. The children of the Little Leagues and the girls' softball leagues will be displaced and likely come to a neighborhood in North Torrance. There is not enough green space for our kids in North Torrance. Traffic in your neighborhood will increase. The Little League alone has over 275 families, and we will be parking in your neighborhoods every day for games and practices. I ask all the parents in TUSD to join and support us because they will need money again. We in the North Side will no longer vote in favor of bonds, and then they will come for your schools. If things must be equal, Levy and Hamilton should have both been put on the table. This will be the 5th school lost in North Torrance, with West and South at 3 each. Thank you.
Maureen Averato, followed by S.A. Berman. One more time. Maureen Averato? Yes. Yes. Arevato? L-O. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Maureen Arevalo. I'm a 5th grade teacher at John Adams, just down the street. And I'm here to talk about and maybe clarify the YMCA coverage for PE. Because as we understand it, the YMCA is going to cover or teach PE while the teachers collaborate. But there are only 2 5th grade teachers at my site, which means we will have our collaboration time, I guess, on the playground. That is not collaboration. That is watching the kids have free play, because I don't think that the YMCA would actually be teaching PE. So we would really like you to reconsider that, and what we really would like is to have that time in our classroom to teach social studies, science, and the other subjects. Thank you.
Thank you. Recess followed by Sandy Hutchinson.
Good evening. As a parent of I'm a first-year parent in TUSD. I know my daughter's a 7th grader, but as a result, they didn't have the needs that I want. Actually, they didn't have what I wanted my daughter to learn, a bilingual program. So I had to get a permit to send my kid out of Torrance. My other 2 children are actually still on permit out of Torrance. It'd be nice if we had some other programs in our district, but that's not the case. I've been coming to the board meetings for a long time now, and I just keep hearing the teachers being frustrated. I, as a parent, I'm frustrated too. I can understand why they're frustrated. It's my first year as a parent and feeling like I'm not being heard, not being communicated with. Teachers have been giving their heart for a very long time, and they feel like they're not being communicated with or being talked to. I mean, we're not the only district that's going through a budget crisis. Other districts have a roadshow where the superintendent goes to the different schools and does a presentation to the teacher groups and says, this is what's going on, this is why we're doing this. Please, understand, we're doing our best. Trust was brought up today. On a side note, on a different note, Hawthorne, Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach, Wiseburn, they're all school districts of the South Bay. They all have a 2018 distinguished school. Torrance is not on the list. When was the last time Torrance was missing? This is something, as stewards of our district, you were elected to be stewards of our district. This shouldn't be happening. You should be looking out for that, and it should be something that should be addressed and brought up and say, what is going on? We should probably listen to the experts we have in our classrooms and see what's going on so that we can become the example, the exemplary school the district that we can be, because this is a great district. And I believe that we truly can get to that level again. Last year, 2017, I believe Magruder was a Golden Ribbon school, and we've had a lot of different schools winning all these state awards. This year, we didn't. That should be something that should be talked about and be addressed. Thank you very much for your time.
Sandy Hutchinson, followed by Lydia Bree.
Hi, my name is Sandy Hutchinson. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Seaside Elementary. And greetings. I'm a frustrated teacher. This wave of Common Core, RTI, PLC, testing, and the latest proposal has finally sent me so far over the edge, I feel I have to speak. Please ask me what my students need. I am the one in the classroom every day. Please trust me, listen to me, and let me teach. Common Core standards have been a huge shift, Elementary teachers teach all subjects. We just got our feet wet when traditional report cards were replaced with achievement reports. Throw in training for PLC and RTI, add CGI, portfolio task, F&P, NGSS, social studies, wonders, PBIS, and for good measure, change the phones and attendance software. Just like our students, we can only process, learn, and implement so much. Please trust us, listen to us, and let us teach. My colleagues and I have been teaching, grouping students, reteaching, and referring students who need help for years. Now you call it RTI. We need face time with our students, time to teach, plan, grade papers, and intervention teachers to help with our struggling students. The gap in student achievement in our classrooms is growing wider every year. Please have RTI teachers and coaches work with our struggling students. Instructional time is also lost when students are constantly taking tests. Fontes and Pinnell takes up a lot of instructional time. Math performance tasks are being required for all grades. We now have to give interim state tests throughout and also at the end of the year. We know which students need help. Please trust us, listen to us, and let us teach. Our Wednesday afternoon PLCs are used for collaboration. Please treat us as professionals and allow us to use that time as we see fit. I love our PE teachers. They do a great job getting a large group of students up and moving and preparing them for the 5th grade fitness test. Many teachers at my school would rather see the PE PLC time go away completely if the district is going to tell us what we have to do during that time. The YMCA is a wonderful before and after school service. Their employees are still young and not trained to teach or supervise large groups of students. Under no circumstances should their services be used during school hours. We do not want or need more collaboration time during school hours. Please trust us, listen to us, and let us teach. Please think long and hard before passing all the latest elementary school proposals. If you continue to employ the PE teachers, treat them and us like professionals. Do not add any more collaboration time with Y supervision, but spend time talking to teachers. We are in this profession to teach. Please trust us, listen to us, and let us teach. And I have copies for you if you have questions.
Certainly, please. Lydia Bree, followed by Kelly Collins. Lydia Bree, followed by Kelly Collins.
Hi, I'm Lydia Bree from Seaside Elementary School. Tonight I come to the board as a teacher concerned about the educational experience we're providing our students as a result of excessive and unrealistic demands that are placed on the teachers. I've been asking my colleagues what they feel that's important to them and what they want expressed to you. Some of the ideas that they want you to hear is that the data collection that have been implemented in the classrooms so much and to such an extensive level lately, we don't understand the benefit of it. As Sandy told us earlier, we know what our students are doing. We don't need week after week of data collection. We need time to teach our students. We have RTI, PBIS, all of these things. We want to know why Torrance Unified feels these are so important when we're there helping our students, wanting the very best for them. We have always pulled small groups. In the 20-plus years that I've been with the district, I've always helped those children in need, and I've helped those that need enrichment. So please, again, listen to our voices. Let us do our job. One of my colleagues wanted to suggest that Solution Tree started out as a great thing. It was very much teacher-driven, but now they feel that that power given to the teacher has been pulled back. We would like that power back. We would like to be able to work with each other, to have our PLCs and work in a way that is best for our students and best for us as teachers. I want to share with you a very critical defining moment of my teaching this year, and that was during the week of Thanksgiving. It was the end of the trimester for elementary school. And one of my colleagues came down. We need to fit in one more common formative assessment. We need to test those students on comparing and contrasting. Okay, I can get it done. And then over the week, when I was home with my family, I was watching a TV show, and children were saying what they were thankful for. And I'm like, oh, telling my family, that's very interesting. Developmentally, a student doesn't usually say that at that age. Oh, more often I hear this kind of response from a child of that age. And all of a sudden, I stopped dead in my tracks. I didn't even ask my students what they were thankful for. I was so busy thinking about one more common formative assessment, that we could have data collected, that we could share our data, that I totally neglected the magic of being in school, the mystery, the fun of learning. Who here doesn't remember making the little pilgrim hat or making a turkey with their handprint? That's part of the school experience. I'm concerned with the whole child. I want to benefit the entire child, the citizenship, the shared cultures, the tradition. And in that week, my eyes were opened. No longer do I want to drive these children into being little data machines. It's not a one-size-fit-all program. Please, no new teaching time. Some days I have 30 minutes. Some days I need 2 hours. Some days I need 15 minutes. Let me make those decisions. And as a final thought, my daughters have gone through Torrance Unified District. I was very proud of their education. I've been proud to serve this school district for over 20 years. But I have a very sobering thought. As a grandparent, my daughter's researching private schools, and I'm helping her do that. Because as a future parent and a future grandparent, I cannot embrace some of the practices that we're putting forth today. So please consider this as we go forward as well.
Thank you. You're the last card, so go ahead, Kelly.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kelly Collins. I'm here in front of you tonight as a kindergarten teacher. I am a resident of Torrance, and I am a parent of 2 children who will be coming through the Torrance Unified School District. This right now is my 10th year of teaching, and my very first year started in Torrance at Hickory, where I student taught, and I couldn't have been more pleased and excited to have started my career in this district. When I started, and my friends were in LAUSD, and they were talking about open court and how their teaching was based on a script, and they were told what time they had to teach math, and if there was time for science, it was taught at this time. I told them, I have choice. I get to choose when I teach English, when I teach math, how I teach it, as long as I teach the standards. That was in 2008. I unfortunately had to find a job elsewhere because of the budget at that time. I moved around because my passion was teaching. This is what I went to school for. This is what I knew I wanted to spend my life doing. I came back 4 years ago, and I was so thrilled that I came back. I finally made it. I finally landed at my home where I wanted to be in the district that I so dearly loved, and I was so proud to be a part of. That was 4 years ago. Today, I think about, is this the district that I am so proud of? Is this the place where I want my children to go to school? Because I don't feel that sense of pride anymore. I don't feel that I have the choice to teach the way that you hired me to teach. I was chosen for my job because I'm a professional, because I know what I'm doing, because I have passion, because I enjoy what I'm doing, and I don't feel that way anymore. I'm now told that I have to do this at this time, I have to do this at this time, and if I'm not, I feel as though I'm being reprimanded. Not that I'm doing it any worse than I was doing before, but now I have to be on a clock, and I have to be on somebody else's clock. And on this clock, I have to be filling out all these forms and all this data. And when we have our staff meetings and our administration is talking about our students, they don't have names, they don't have faces, they don't have anything but a projection on a screen of where they fall because they're a piece of data. These children are important. They have a favorite color. I know their favorite color. I know that their favorite book is about unicorns. I know that they have a dog that's named Cece. I know that about these children. I know how to reach these children because they're not a number. They are wonderful, they're amazing, and we need to make sure that we reach those children and we're able to reach those children because that's our passion. That's our job. And the way things are going on with this district right now, we're not able to do that. We're not able to give our passion, give our enjoyment, and teach those little kids and give them everything they deserve because they deserve that and so much more. Thank you.
Moving on to number 10, discussion action items. Instructions to the public speakers wishing to address the board on agenda topics are permitted 3 minutes per topic. Total time granted for public input shall be limited to 30 minutes per topic. The board policies require that public presentation to the board comply with certain procedures, including items 2 through 4 listed in oral communications. 10.2, the 2018 runoff election for California School Boards Association Delegate Assembly. Who do I call on this one? Any board member. Mr. Lee.
I have an idea. The one from Hermosa Beach is a lot closer.
Sure.
That seems to be as good a reason as any.
Mrs. Reagan?
Yeah, I don't know any of them.
Actually, I can speak to the individual from Hermosa Beach. It's Margaret or Maggie? What do they have her listed as? Maggie?
It doesn't.
She actually has worked at renovating our South Bay Trustees Association. And she is the one who's actually had, we're up to 3 or 4 meetings now of having the boards in the local area meet together in terms of board presidents and getting that sort of collaborative
I'll make a motion
relationship
that we vote for her.
back. So I think she would actually be wonderful in that position.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of voting for Maggie?
Maggie. Mhm.
Maggie? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We have now fallen to the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull something? I want to pull 12.9, and so does Kathy Cullen of Riviera. Got 12.9. Anybody else want to pull anything? One moment. Are you Kathy? Yeah, one moment.
Great. I'll make a motion to approve general function consent items in their totality except for 12.9, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
You did not include 13. Do you want to include 13 in that?
Might as well, yes.
Okay. Do we have anybody who wants to pull any of all those?
I don't either.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of everything except 12.9?
Aye.
All right, let's go. Kathy, I'll let you lead off. I need a motion. Oh, I need a motion for 12.9.
Motion to approve 12.9. Approve.
Okay, now Kathy, sorry about that. We have procedures we have to follow. We're an exciting group,
I
so.
don't know the procedure, so I'm just, Kathy Cullen at Riviera Elementary, speaking for apparently Riviera and Deborah DeBush. And I would like to thank TUSD. After all we've just heard, thank you so much for creating that resolution proclaiming May 9th as California Day of the Teacher. TTA leadership is also going to be celebrating the hard work and dedication of their members on this day. All teachers, please be sure to save the date. The date is May 9th to celebrate your hard work together with colleagues across the district. So bravo, thank you guys very, very much for all your hard work. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak to 12.9? Mr. Stefan? Mrs. Reagan?
I actually had pulled that item to talk about at the end of the meeting, too. I think it's definitely notable. It actually happens to be a day that falls within the Teacher Appreciation Week at many of our schools. And our school, I think every one of our schools has a program that tries to recognize the contributions of the teachers at their schools for at least a week, and hopefully beyond, that everyone continues to show appreciation for the things that teachers are bringing to our schools. So thank you for bringing it up, and let's all thank our teachers on May 9th.
Mrs. Deutsch? Mr. Lee?
Thank him every day. I live with one.
I have the luxury of coming from a long line of teachers. My father, my mother, brothers, my brother, my sister-in-law, aunts and uncles, they're all teachers. I elected not to take the pay cut and step in the classroom because I don't have the patience. Every day, teachers face the most challenging job you could possibly imagine. Perhaps police and fire might be more challenging, but I'd be surprised. It is the closest thing you can get to a religious calling without actually doing that. So I want to thank you all for doing it. Like I said, I grew up with teachers around me my entire life, so I'm exceptionally empathetic. Usually, we're not in the rough spot we're in. I've been doing this for 8 years. This is the first time I've seen this kind of rocky process, but I am confident we will get to this, we'll get to the other side, and things will be good again. I have a supreme confidence in that. We're much closer than we all realize. So I agree with everyone up here on the board. Thank your teachers. I like to thank them every day. I still have 3 kids enrolled in our schools, so I get to interact with our teachers extensively. So again, thank you. All those in support of 12.9, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have now moved to board calendar 19.1. There's lots of stuff on our board calendar, and Williams reporting requirements 19.2. Nothing we need to do there, correct?
Nope.
Then a report from the board's representative to the Southern California Regional Occupation Center.
That's you.
Michael Wormers. We had a meeting, and it was on my anniversary, so I kept the meeting exceptionally brief. I didn't pick any fights with anybody, so it was a rather quick meeting. They're kind of getting their feet underneath them. We need to actually, my next big push with the SoCal Rock is to try to figure out exactly what things cost. That'll be an interesting, everyone who's participated, Terry's
I'd love to
giggling
see
at me.
it. Go for it.
Terry's giggling at me. Everyone who proceeded
Go
before
for
me, they're all laughing because that's almost impossible to do, but that's my next big push. So I'm still targeting the at-large members. That still needs to go away, and I'm trying that a different way, so we'll see what we can do with that. Other than that, we have $4 million from the state, $4 million of your tax dollars at SoCal Rock. I'm going to try to see to it we spend it very appropriately. So, any other comments from members of the board? Mr. Stefan. Last chance. Mrs. Reagan.
Yeah, I do have a few different things. One is to recognize our classified employees who have reached anniversary increments this month for the agenda. And for 10 years of accredited service, we have Dara Bowen, Valerie Grogan, Joanne Nakamura-Kang, Jeffrey Nakano, and Regina Walker. For 15 years of accredited service, we have Cecilia Klunt, Barbara Soriano, and Richard Vasquez. So thank you for helping to keep our schools running and our students safe. And we have a bus driver in this group, so transporting them safely too. And I wanted to add that there are a couple of other resolutions actually that we passed in the consent portion of our meeting. One of them actually is May 9th again, is also School Nurses Day, which is kind of interesting. Being from a medical profession myself, I actually have on my wish list that we would have more school nurses available to our students, but those that we do have are very hardworking and are folks that take care of our students and their medical needs. So I do want to recognize that they have a day coming up on May 9th. And then May 2018 is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So I want to recognize all of our Asian American folks and Pacific Islanders who are part of our student population and part of our staff population. So thank you all for being here with us and being part of Torrance Unified School District. And that is it, sir. Thank you.
Mrs. Deutsch? Mr. Lee?
Pretty excited about the gym opening at Richardson. Pretty impressive place. I see Emily Kay out there smiling because she had a little bit to do with it. But no, pretty impressive. In fact, I live across the street from the Jefferson one, so it looks pretty much done. And it's got that big panther head on it. Yeah, that looks pretty impressive when you drive up the street. And then, can I talk about our June board meeting yet? On June 4th, happens to be my wife's birthday, but, well, I'll invite her. She's probably watching, so you're invited, Jane. We're going to open the West High Auditorium. We're going to have our meeting there. We have the grand opening there. And probably after the pool, this is what I've looked forward to in going through this bond process the most. Well, maybe after JH Hall, the pool, and now this. But look forward to see what it looks like. It's going to be a 500-seat auditorium for the community to kind of understand what that means. It's exactly the same size as the James Armstrong Theater. We have a couple more seats. Oh, so, well, there's a little story about how wide the seats are at Torrance, at the Armstrong Center, but probably will bore you on TV with that process. But if you ask me privately, I'll tell you the story. Mr. Wormers is laughing because he knows it. But so we have 550 seats, so that's good, but expect the inside about the same size. But, you know, look forward to, for the community, you know, I know that there's a number of religious organizations that want to rent it now. I know that, you know, certainly our schools are going to use it. It certainly will free up time at the Armstrong Center for the community as a whole. I know that's all going on, so that's good. And then lastly, I know staff and our staff and city staff are meeting. Should we be scheduling a joint meeting of the elected officials or not at this point?
I don't think we're at the point where we are ready to do that.
Okay, but, you know, before the end of the year?
Probably the end of the year, or maybe in the fall.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you.
Actually, I did have one more.
Mrs. Deutsch, Mrs. Reagan, I'm sorry.
I did have one more thing. Can we ask staff to get with the young man from West and talk with the students about the issues? I believe, I thought that staff had contacted them and been in touch with them through a few different avenues, through the principal as well as other means, but if not, we need to do that, please.
Are you talking about the blinds?
Yes, or whatever he said that was one of the issues. Thanks.
Part of the reason I was laughing is the incomparable Mr. Lee is the reason I sit here today. He involved me in measures Y and Z, and it was a real slippery slope from there to being on the school board. So if someone asks you to work on a school bond, be careful. I would like to ask for adjournment in memoriam of retired Superintendent Executive Secretary Phi Treasy, retired teacher Kirsten Trulson, retired teacher and counselor Ann Graves, retired teacher Ramona DeSalvo, and Torrance High School teacher Deborah Gaylard.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we are done.
Mr. Wormers, would you remind the students that they can come up to any of these?
Any of us can sign.
Any of us can sign, please come up.
With your paperwork.
That way you can get home and get started on your homework.
Do your homework.
Make it sound so attractive.
It's the facts this time of the year. I got 3 kids at home doing homework, so. There is lots of homework this time of year.
Oh, I was just going to ask him. That's awesome. Great. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, Emily, thank you for the work at Carr.
I'm sure. Sorry, I mangled.
I forgot to say it. I forgot to bring it up.
I
Thank you
realized
for the
too, I
work
left
at
my
Carr.
phone at
Thank you
home.
for
I'm like,
the
oh
black
no,
coffee.
I don't have
Thank
any
you
of my
very much.
little notes. I was going to write in my little notebook, and I was like, oh.
Thank you.